This is Tanveer Muhammad Masood, and in this part of this very short video, I will try to relate to you one incident that took place in the life of Prophet Noah, peace be upon him, or Nuh al-Islam as we call in Urdu. And Prophet Noah was one of the several prophets of Islam that was basically sent towards humanity, and they were basically commanded by Allah to send, or rather pass over this message of peace towards humanity and towards the entire mankind. So, as it turned out in the life of Prophet Noah, he tried to exhort his people, the entire humanity, to come towards the message of peace, towards the path of righteousness and taqwa. But his people, to pay heed to his words, they never ever were showing any signs of showing some sort of agreement towards his words and towards his commandment. They were simply trying to beat about the bush, and they never ever tried to listen to what the Prophet of Allah was trying to tell him. He was simply trying to give, or rather pass on the message of peace towards this humanity. But as I said, people were indeed in a state of astray. They were basically not even trying to convince themselves that what the Prophet of Allah is saying is right, and what their practices are basically baseless, and they have no such some sort of kinetic in their practice that they were basically carrying out. So the Prophet of Allah, Nuh al-Islam, now he put across this message. He tried and gave feedback to Allah, to the angels of Allah, that he had tried his best to convince the people that what he was trying to deliver was indeed a message of peace, and indeed he was one of the several prophets and messengers of Allah. But his people are not paying heed to his words, or they are not listening to him. So, as it turned out, Allah ordered him, or rather commanded him, to collect one species of every animal, like that of goat, camel, giraffe, birds species of birds like that of sparrow, and I mean several other species, and collect them and put them in a ship that needs to be built by him. And after that, what Allah is going to do is that He is going to send a very ferocious flood and deluge that would sink the entire humanity, except those that who are onto the boat, and they would be basically saved from the ferocious flood that would be sent to the people who are not listening to him. Now, as per his order, the Prophet of Islam, the Prophet Noah al-Islam, collected each and every species of every animal, and he had put them in and tried to preserve them in a boat that was specially built by him. It was quite big enough to accommodate each and every species of every animal and bird, so that they can be saved from the possible fury that was on the verge of hitting the mankind who had refused to accept and pay heed to the words of the Messenger of Allah. Now, seeing this, the son of Prophet Noah had tried and inquired as to what he was up to and why he is doing so. Prophet Noah al-Islam put across this message of Allah to him too. But as it turned out, his son too refused to accept his words and believe his words and could not be convinced. He in fact told his father that he is going to climb on the top of a huge tree so that he can be saved, or rather he can save himself from the deluge that is on the offing that is going to hit them, and he would thereby be saved from that huge and ferocious flood that is going to hit them any time now. Now, after this, his father, Prophet Noah, left him too, and he, along with all the species of all the animals and birds, got on that huge boat and closed the door. And after a few days or a few hours, there was this huge flood, very heavy and ferocious rain that had rocked the world, and all of a sudden there was a huge deluge and flood. Entire mankind drowned on it. Everyone in there, every people, all the people in there, they were all drowned on in that huge flood that basically occurred due to the wrath of Allah falling on them, since they had refused to listen to His words. Now his son, the son of Prophet Noah alayhi salam, who was basically trying to climb on the top of the tree, he too got drowned on that flood, because the nature of fury of that flood was so immense that no mankind except in whoever was in there on that boat that was basically built by Prophet Noah alayhi salam could be saved, and everyone was drawn, since the message of Allah was crystal clear that He has this ability and strength of bringing another humanity, another species of man and humanity who would be basically listening to what the messengers are saying, to what the prophets were trying to put across, rather than those who are basically not disobedient and basically who have turned deaf ears to the words of Allah and to the words of the Holy Book and Scriptures. This way, the entire humanity was drawn, and one part, or rather one era of mankind was completely vanished and perished, owing to the disobedience of that race of people towards the words of Allah and the words of the Holy Book and the Scriptures. Species of animals and people who were in there on the boat, they were saved, and they were basically those who who had listened to the words of Allah. And since the Prophet was injured, the Prophet Noah alayhi salam was injured, they were all saved from the fury of Allah, and by fearing He had sent a huge and a ferocious flood to hit the mankind that was basically not even given a ram to the words that were basically coming from the Prophet Noah alayhi salam.